I'm delighted today to be here with Aaron Tindall. I've known Aaron for many, many years. What do you think inspired you? So I guess as a euphonium player, but as a brass player generally, what inspired you to take up that instrument? Was it by chance? Was it through school? How did that all come about?
My father, Todd Tindall is his name. He's an amazing amateur trombone and euphonium player. So I grew up always hearing low brass in the house. Would hear recordings of him. We had an LP, turntable record player. Music was always going on in my house. Mother's also musical. All of my siblings, and I just fell in love with the sound of low brass from a very young age. I think ever since I was 3 or 4, I can remember just being drawn to the sound of that. And I began on trombone in the fifth grade and played that through. And I think I switched to the euphonium about in the eighth grade. And we had Leonard Falcone recordings and all kinds of stuff. I was just really curious, and I would just play music and listen to it, or listen to my father play. I'd go play in a community band with him, and I switched over to euphonium about in the eighth or ninth grade. I was just drawn to the fact that the instrument could play a little bit faster than I could on the trombone at the moment. And but people such as yourself have proven euphonium players wrong. Trombone can play about just as many notes as the euphonium can. But so that was kind of my path. And what had inspired me from an early age was really my father, and just has such a characteristic, really warm, rich, vibrant sound. And so I grew up hearing that, and then I went through my undergraduate and on euphonium, and also my master's degree. I stayed at the Royal Northern College of Music with Stephen Mead, and had a great opportunity to play in many great brass bands and do solo competitions. And throughout those 2 degrees, I had taken a number of military band auditions here in the United States, and I was getting close, but I wasn't winning those. And maybe had a little bit different, maybe more of a British sound concept to my euphonium playing at the time. And I was doing a lot of solo recitals. I was an artist with Besson right away. Well, I could always play the tuba, the F tuba primarily. Studied with Mel Culbertson and Roger Bobo, and of course Velvet Brown was my undergraduate teacher. And I just kind of made that transition into my doctorate degree at the Indiana University with Dan Parentoni. And long story short, I had won a competition with the Minnesota Orchestra, and Osmo Vanska called me into his office and said, "Have you ever played the bead tuba?" In my best Scandinavian voice here. He called me and I said, "No, I don't play the orchestral tuba. You should, and I would like to make it possible for you to go to the Aspen Music Festival." And so he made a call and got me into the Aspen Music Festival without an audition. I didn't even own a C tuba, and that's where I met Warren Deck, who's the retired principal tuba player of the New York Philharmonic. And that was in the summer of 2009, and that literally changed the scope of my understanding, of the tuba, and how to play the tuba, how to play a brass instrument, how to do things correctly, how to get into the slot, and some other real technical jargon and stuff, I guess you could say. But Warren's like a second father to me, just like Mr. P, Dan Parentoni is, and also close with Stephen Mead. So I've had really, really wonderful mentors, and I'm so blessed and lucky to have worked with the best in the business. But yeah, from the summer of 2009 on, I really just was bit by the orchestra bug, and playing a large contrabass tuba, and then got into orchestral playing, and my solo career really took off on the tuba. And I taught at the Eastern Michigan University. It was my first teaching job. I was at the Ithaca College. I played in the Iceland Symphony, Syracuse Symphony, wound up down in Miami, and fast forward, and here we are. There's been a few other things that have happened, along the way, but that's the fast version of how I got to where I'm at.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for your time, Aaron. I know you're a very busy guy, so to have managed to pin you down, I'm very grateful, and I'll look forward to speaking to you again very soon.
All right. Thanks so much, Brett.
Pleasure.